Todd finally gathered the courage to open up about the abuse he had endured from his partner, Theo. Viewers of Coronation Street seem split on what justice should mean for Todd Grimshaw after he bravely shared his experience of mistreatment by Theo Silverton. A little over a year has passed since the pair first crossed paths by chance on the cobbles and quickly began an intense relationship. However, as time went on, Theo's troubling conduct became increasingly obvious, and Todd ultimately realized he was trapped in a controlling and abusive partnership. Many fans believed matters had reached a breaking point when the couple separated last month. However, Theo continued to manipulate the situation, making things difficult for Todd, and eventually drew him back in, turning the split into just another part of his controlling behavior. The situation escalated further when, only days later, the pair unexpectedly got married after Theo arranged a surprise ceremony. Feeling pressured and with no clear way out, Todd reluctantly agreed to the marriage, much to the dismay of his friends and family when the couple returned to celebrate at the Rovers. It soon became evident how toxic things had become when George Shuttleworth personally overheard some of the cruel remarks Theo directed at Todd. Even Gary Windus, who had been Theo's only supporter on the street, witnessed similar behavior, increasing fears for Todd's well-being. George later joined forces with Sarah Platt and Summer Spellman in an effort to help Todd get away. Yet, gripped by fear, Todd continued to defend Theo and even agreed to leave Weatherfield with him to start over in Belfast. In Monday's April 13th episode, viewers saw the consequences of Theo locking Todd inside their bedroom overnight. Todd attempted to reassure Theo that he would move away with him and support him through his issues, which eventually caused Theo to back down. However, once Theo stepped into the shower, Todd quickly packed a few belongings and tried to escape, only to discover he was still locked in. Moments later, Theo returned, shaking the keys and catching Todd in the act before aggressively cornering him in the flat while shouting abuse. Although the attack itself was not shown, Theo then violently assaulted Todd. The next time Todd appeared, he was discovered by Sarah, who had answered her intercom and heard his weak voice, before rushing outside with her partner, Kit Green, to find him badly injured, covered in blood, and unable to stand. As Kit hurried to fetch his car to take Todd to hospital, Todd managed to tell Sarah he wanted to report the incident to the police. In a special episode airing on Wednesday, April 15th, Todd will recount the full extent of his ordeal to Kit and Lisa Swain in deeply emotional scenes. Despite this, uncertainty still surrounds Theo's fate, especially as he has been listed among 5 potential victims in an upcoming murder storyline on the cobbles. Spoilers for next week in Coronation Street hint at major drama ahead, with everything unraveling for Megan Walsh and Carl Webster following a shocking twist. In a moment, fans have been eagerly anticipating Carla Connor and Lisa Swain finally get married and openly declare their love for one another. But when unexpected chaos unfolds, it's uncertain whether Roy Cropper and Betsy Swain can step in to ensure the ceremony turns out as the couple had dreamed. At the same time, Carl continues scheming, turning his attention away from Theo Silverton and once again targeting his mother Debbie Webster and her partner Ronnie Bailey, pushing them closer to the edge. The Driscoll family faces further turmoil as Ollie Driscoll turns against his father Ben Driscoll. Meanwhile, Maggie Driscoll pressures Eva Price, with support from Leanne Battersby, to confront Megan, though their actions risk making matters worse. Elsewhere, George Shuttleworth intervenes when Theo targets Summer Spellman, while Jodie Ramsey is shaken by a troubling link to her past. At the same time, Todd Grimshaw begins preparing to leave Weatherfield behind. Carl spots an opportunity when he notices Theo failing to get a reaction from Gary Windass. He deliberately provokes Theo, drawing him into the Rovers before continuing to antagonize him outside as tensions flare. Meanwhile, Ben, Eva, and Maggie are left devastated when Kit Green reveals that the CPS has dropped the case against Megan due to a lack of evidence. When Will Driscoll rushes to inform Megan, she reveals she has already made plans for them to head to Paris. Carla's wedding plans are disrupted by an unexpected call. Later, she and Lisa pack up Connie's belongings before telling Betsy that Connie will be returning to her grandmother after her social worker got in touch. Tensions continue to rise within the Driscoll family as Ollie blames Ben for failing to keep Will safe from Megan. Maggie then plots to have Eva coax a confession out of Megan, while Ben begins contemplating drastic measures. Lisa's emotional vows leave Betsy in tears, prompting Carla to ask for her help in writing her own. Elsewhere, Jody is unsettled after seeing a flyer for a haulage company called Haul North, while Theo cruelly recounts Billy Mayhew's final moments to Summer. Debbie is later informed that Carl has been hospitalized, and Christina Boyd encourages George to revive his business. Carl celebrates prematurely after pressuring Debbie into signing over her hotel in exchange for his silence regarding Ronnie's alleged attack. Although Ronnie urges her to resist, Debbie later confronts Carl, refusing his demands but offering him money on the condition that he leaves her life permanently. Following Leanne's advice, Eva searches Will's room and finds a burner phone with just one contact saved, prompting them to arrange a meeting. At the same time, Summer confides in George about Theo's threats, leading him to warn Theo to stay away from both Todd and Summer. Sally Metcalf later finds Lisa alone instead of attending her hen party, while Jody introduces Olivia to Shona Platt, revealing she once worked as her nanny. Eva, Leanne, and Toya Battersby confront Megan, and the situation quickly turns violent, leaving her injured in the street. Eva later reveals she secretly placed a tracker in Megan's bag. Soon after, Will's mother Melanie arrives in anger after being summoned by Ollie. Disaster strikes when flooding ruins the wedding venue, forcing Debbie to cancel Carla and Lisa's ceremony. Ryan Connor reassures Lisa that Carla doesn't need a lavish event to marry her. Carl continues his scheming against Theo, while Todd reveals his plan to move to Thailand with Eileen Grimshaw and Jason Grimshaw. Meanwhile, Jody catches Olivia searching for a stolen hard drive connected to her father. With no official venue available, Lisa tricks Carla into coming to the hotel under the guise of a free lunch, where she has secretly organized a small ceremony. Surrounded by Ryan, Roy, and Betsy, the couple exchange vows before celebrating with a surprise reception at Underworld. A shaken Jody later confides in Shona that Olivia's father is the abusive ex she has been running from, explaining that the hard drive is the reason he is pursuing her. Realizing the danger, Shona warns that he could find her soon and urges her to leave. Elsewhere, Eva shares Megan's confession with Leanne and Toya, Debbie hands Carl the money and cuts ties with him for good, and Todd gathers his belongings as he prepares to depart for the airport. Coronation Street is broadcast on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1 and can also be streamed online via ITVX.